It's again, the finale was sick. This red wine ain't bad either. Hoping for a 20-year run, Law and Order style for the series. Ha, that's funny.
Adam Donmoyer says, my buddy Corey Brill, who plays Pete, reading about his character's fate at the Walking Dead store in Sonoy, Georgia. Took the pit last November when I visited him during filming. It shows Pete with the comic open with this look like, can you believe this shit on his face?
He's so cute. On The Talking Dead, they made a point of saying how nice Corey Brill is. And by the way, the Walking Dead store in Sonoy? There's a store?
Yeah, now there is. If you go to Sonoy now, it's all different, like a lot of Walking Dead related stuff.
Wow. When I was there,
it's pretty cool, though.
Were we there in season 2, season 3 the first time? Season 2?
3.
3. There was like, you could get a Walking Dead coffee mug at the coffee shop, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah. While we're on the subject, I'll play. So Chris Hardwick mentioned that Corey Brill made up a song about this whole porch dick thing, because I guess Chris Hardwick's the one who came up with that.
Yeah. He talked about it.
So I'm going to play the song. It's actually a video on YouTube, and he's on a porch while he's doing the song.
This guy, Chris Hardwick, says 2 words, and now my life has changed. I was an affable guy, an actor from Ohio that's been rearranged. See, on The Walking Dead, I sat on a porch and was a bit of a jerk to Rick. Now, because of that scene and a comment by the Nerdist, I'm apparently porch dick? Porch dick? What does that even mean? Porch dick. How do I explain that to my mom? It sounds like a SAG Ultra low-budget porno flick. Now, there are lots of other things about me, if you really want to know the truth. My wife's a funny actor. I've worked on Broadway. I've got beehives on a roof. But none of those things matter now. It's enough to make you sick. Because of that scene, at least on Twitter, I'm apparently porch dick. Porch dick? I don't even have a porch dick. If I did, it'd be a wraparound. All the nicknames, that's the one to stick. But all things being equal, I suppose I get a kick from the fact that I'll forever be a porch dick.
That's it. Poor guy. Maybe we can try to have him on so he can help rehabilitate his image.
We can give him a new nickname.
Yeah.
We can Dr. Pete. the messed up
happy
doctor.
Guy. Actor
with a wife who's an actor and beehives on his roof, apparently. Wow, that's unbelievably cute. Okay, next one. Ned Rogers writes, thinking maybe the biggest cliffhanger for season 6 may be the conflict between Morgan's all life is precious philosophy and Rick's if he's trouble, kill him worldview. I guess in that scenario, Rick wins. Like we said.
Oh, like you said, yeah. Pierre Burt says, pretty good. I was hoping for more deaths, though. Message to Kirkman. Remember, no one is safe. It's time to kill off some fan favorites.
No.
In good time.
Yeah, we'll see. Tammy Sue writes, I really liked how they showed the wolves finding the photos in Aaron's backpack. Explains why they haven't bothered Alexandria before. They didn't know it existed, but now they do.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And James Skyluna says, it was worth waiting 5 years to meet Mr. Miyagi Morgan. Totally. All right. That's it. We'll take a little break. There's more. All right, we're back. It's time to talk about our sponsor, Fracture. With Fracture, you get your photos printed on glass in vivid color. And if you guys have been waiting for a little extra motivation to check out Fracture, I've got it for you. Fracture right now is having their biggest sale of the year. It's their spring sale. And you get 20% off all fractures.
Pretty crazy.
Of every size and shape. And to get that, you go to fractureme.com, fractureme.com, and use coupon code BLOOM, BLOOM. The marketing director of Fractures, this guy Drew, and he wrote and said, I know Bloom is totally non-zombie-ish. Maybe like Bloom like an exit wound from a zombie shot by Sasha. Aww. Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. Haha.
He's a fan.
Yeah, that would be a cool Fracture. An exit wound.
Maybe for your basement.
Exactly. I'll keep my really dark ones down there. I like Fracture because they're really unique. The name comes from a combination of frame and picture. Frame, picture, fracture. Because they're a picture and a frame together in this beautiful presentation. And they're the kind of thing that people see and ask you about.
Yes.
They're like, where did you get that? How'd you do that?
Well, I took it. It's mine.
I'm not going to tell you. So I kind of like having stuff that's kind of special like that sometimes and unique. But I also like things like my iPhone, which is not unique at all, but it's really well made. And I think these things are like that too. They have great attention to detail and they're very well made.
You know, it made me want to get a better camera. I'm going to Venice this summer, and I was thinking about Fracture actually, and getting a good camera, taking it with us to Venice, and then taking some really pretty pictures of Venice that I could then come back and Fracture.
Nice. When are you going?
July.
That's cool. I'm going to Spain in July.
We'll wave hi at the airport. Jason, Jenny,
through the windows of the plane.
Right.
Cool, man. That's a great idea. I should do the same thing because there's some awesome, beautiful architecture in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I can get some good Nico ones in front of there.
Yep.
Even if you're just curious about Fracture and you haven't checked into it yet, go to fractureme.com. They have, I noticed this great video that they had done. It's on the front page right now. It's just a couple minutes, but it does a really good job of capturing what they're like, kind of the feel of it, how they look, what the packaging is like, and the different variations of sizes and how the photos look on the wall and things like that. So I would recommend checking that out. Once again, if you go to fractureme.com and use coupon code Bloom, you get 20% off. Mother's Day's Sunday, May 10th, but this sale ends in just a few days. It's on April 6th. So that's how much time you have to take advantage of this 20% off. And thank you, Fracture, for your support.
Thank you, Fracture.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
So record ratings for the finale.
Really?
15.8 million viewers, which is up 3% from last year's finale.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that show just gets bigger and bigger.
I know. 5 years in.
Dang.
Pretty cool.
People love it.
We picked the right show to podcast
Yeah,
on,
we
apparently.
did.
Mad Men coming up, the last 7. Can't wait.
And Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's right.
It's going to be a good spring.
Okay, Andrew Lincoln was on entertainmentweekly.com. They asked, Rick certainly likes to give speeches or make bold proclamations
Yes,
at the very
he does.
end of seasons.
He speechifies.
He said, yeah, it fills me with dread that every final script that has happened in the last 3 or 4 years, I have a sort of, it's like a judge and jury. Let's just wrap it all up here. No pressure, Andy. I look at Norman Reedus and he just laughs at me. He goes, yeah, I'd rather you than me, mate. And he just rocks up and looks sexy. Now I know which part I should have gone 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? They say, tell us about this climactic scene at the very end with dropping the zombie body and then giving that speech. How do you prepare for something like that? He says, we got incredibly lucky. I think that if the town meeting had gone badly, he would have taken over. He would have taken the place. But we just got lucky in as much as the gates were open. So I guess he feels like the zombie being let in was actually ended up being a good thing for him, because then he could say, see,
right,
look what happens.
Right, exactly. Even though it was the guy who left the gate open was the guy that he brought in. So, okay.
That's a good point. I mean, if he was really like on Carol's level, he would have gone out and grabbed one of those zombies from the outside, and brought it in, thrown it down. See how
safe this is?
Somebody left the gate open. I think it was Aiden. Oh, wait, he's dead. Okay, and then they say, okay, we need to talk to you about your fight with the zombie, which ends with him exploding all over you. How messy was that, and how many takes did you have? Not many. The thing I've realized now, living and working in Atlanta, Georgia for 5 years, is that you bust a gut in 100-degree heat and pretty much 90% humidity and all the summer. And all through the summer, the crew are going, Andy, Andy, Andy. The fall is the most beautiful time in America. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And of course, fall lasts 2 days. And then it's just freezing. And what happened is that Greg Nicotero said, I promise you, I'll warm the blood. And I said, how are you going to warm the blood? Between your knees? What we did, we were shooting and it was -3. And of course, I'm wrestling with Jake. He may be exaggerating. Who's my go-to zombie wrestle partner. He works for K&B and does all the makeup. And of course, we have the fight. The rest of the crew is in 4 layers of Gore-Tex, and I'm just there waiting for a bucket of blood to fall on my face. That's my life, Dalton. That's the interviewer. This is the job. It's almost like a joke job. They go, okay, Andy, this is the final episode. Thanks for all your hard work. We're going to dump a gallon of cold blood on your face, and then you have to do a massive soliloquy and then shoot the man. There you go. And then you can go home. But I just love it. It's pretty funny.
Oh, he's sweet.
Yeah.
I love Andrew Lincoln.
Cool. Next, the companion series. I don't think we've reported on the podcast yet. Actually, I said it earlier on this episode, but it's called Fear the Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm. What was it? What did they call it before? With the
Cobalt.
Cobalt. Yeah, that was the
just something somebody
placeholder
probably
name.
just blurted out. Let's call it Cobalt. They have a short 16-second trailer you can find online, but here's the audio from that, if I can find it.
Morning, Los Angeles. Hope you got your flu shot. Reports in 5 states that a strange virus is going around. So if you're not feeling well, go home, take care of yourselves.
That's it.
Did you get your flu shot this year?
I think so, yeah.
I
but
did too.
it turned out
they're
they
completely
were
useless.
ineffective this year, yeah.
And they're definitely, I mean, we're probably all infected anyway.
So basically, I think they just wanted to get across the point that this is going to show you how it all starts.
Yeah, that's right.
So, cool.
Take care of yourselves. Oh, and don't eat each other. Oh, sorry.
Again, it debuts this summer. They haven't said when. And I'll be podcasting on this podcast. We're not going to do a separate one because I don't want to have to like build it up again. You know, I figure everybody who's listening to this will probably be interested in this show.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So anyways, and it'll be me and Melissa Hutchison and Duncan McPherson and maybe Karen every once in a while.
Yeah.
The Washington Post had an article called The Walking Dead Finale Recap, Black Man Survives. Which I thought was a pretty funny title.
Wow.
But it brought up that subject again. And I was
Yeah.
curious. So I went to Wikipedia and looked at all the characters that they have listed on there.
Yep.
And counted how many white people died and how many black people on the show. If my count was right, it's 33 white people, 8 black people, 2 Latinos, 1 Indian. It does seem to me that black people have proportionally died more. But when you look at the facts...
Did you look at the proportion, like whether the ratio of
black people to white people? I didn't go that deep into it, but I mean,
maybe one of our listeners will do that.
Yeah,
there's your
that's
task.
a good point. Yeah, 8 out of how many?
Yeah,
versus
I mean, if
33
there's
out of
8
how
out of
many?
10, then
Right,
that's a very
That's a good
high
point.
percentage.
Right, that's a good point.
Of the major cast characters that died this season, and just in season 5, we saw Bob, Tyrese, and Noah all die.
Yeah,
And we
I
saw
know.
and Beth too. But those, like, we had 4 big major deaths this year. And in the season,
3 of them were black,
and
yeah,
3 of them were black
totally,
men.
Yeah,
That's not good.
a lot of the white people who died were earlier on, or just secondary characters. So
Yeah, it was not good. So don't kill Morgan. I love him.
right, or Michonne.
God, you know, I got to tell you another thing about Lenny James, and then I'll shut up about Lenny James because clearly you can see I have a giant crush on him, and not just because he speaks with a charming British accent, but yeah, you know that melts my socks right off. But he wears glasses too, and he is.
Yeah, he's
cute.
a cool
wanna
guy.
Squeeze him.
There's a nice way about him.
Yeah.
I can see that. Where was I here?
Before I distracted you.
George R.R. Martin, who wrote a little series called A Song of Ice and Fire.
What?
He reveals how to survive on The Walking Dead in this article on
yes?
He's a longtime student of medieval history, and he said, if you're in Europe, castles, which I've said myself, I think. But anyway, he says if they had any brains in England anyway, they'd go to the existing castles and reinforce the walls. They can patrol on the bulwarks. No way is a zombie getting through. Medieval siege armies couldn't break castles with conventional artillery.
Yeah.
And zombies don't use artillery. Zombies don't use trebuchets. They don't build siege towers. There's no way they can break into a well-defended castle.
A zombie could not build a trebuchet.
But the only thing is you have to go out and get supplies. So you got to have a crew for that.
You do have to have a clever crew. But you can do that. You can make a distract. Zombies are stupid. You distract them with all, like, light a fire.
I'm just seeing, like, what do you call it?
Monty Python?
Yeah. like in their armor coming out.
Right, and that rabbit comes flying across. In southwest France, or maybe it's southeast France, there's the area that the Cathars, the religion of the Cathars, they had it. And they would build these castles on these impossibly tall mountains, these really, really very steep mountains, and they would build these impossibly tall because they were being besieged by the Romans, and so they built these amazing castles. That would be where I would go.
Yeah.
Plus, it's
totally safe.
Super pretty, and you can probably find lots and lots of great wine.
How do you get out? Let down your hair and climb.
Why would you want to if you had amazing wine?
All right, next, this is another article on Entertainment Weekly. Just go to Entertainment Weekly next time. No. So apparently the place where Alexandria is filmed is an actual development known as the Gin property in Sonoy, Georgia, and people live in some of those houses. They actually live there. But what's really interesting is the property development was developed by Scott Tigchillar, the president of Raleigh Studios Atlanta, the home base for Walking Dead in Sonoy. So it was specifically built to also be used as a live set, but to house people, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's how you help finance it or something.
Yeah.
You could write that extras.
Write that off as a business expense. I love those homes. I look at them because I watch home improvement shows, and so I sometimes look at those kitchen. I'm like, that is a nice kitchen. Look at that.
Yeah,
look at that.
I do too. I look at that stuff too. Yeah, they're really nice. Kind of reminds me of your place a little bit, the style,
Thanks.
right? A little bit. So if you want to buy a house and live there, you have to agree to certain conditions, like a giant 15-foot wall around the majority of the property.
Okay.
I don't know what the other conditions are, but that it's going to be a film set, and there might be bright lights at night and stuff, and zombies everywhere.
That might get old, or it might be the most awesome thing ever.
I would do it if one of the conditions was that many of the zombie extras had to stay there every night and just roam around the streets.
And I wouldn't mind me taking them out.
According to the Noonan Times Herald, the studio has a wall permit that extends to November 30th, 2015, this year, with the option for annual renewals through 2019. So potentially 4 years. That could just be to throw us off, or they might be in Alexandria for 4 years. Kathleen Sullivan, who lives on Pliant Street in the community, did not sound particularly enthused about the enclosure when she spoke to the Times Herald. Quote, "I said that the wall would be ugly. None of us had seen it yet, but oh my God, it's uglier than I could ever imagine." That's someone who lives there. It
does seem fairly ugly.
Yeah, but it keeps you safe.
Right.
Wait a minute. I'm mixing up my realities. And one last thing, the integration has led to a few awkward moments for the cast. Melissa McBride said, quote, "We're shooting scenes in this town and you see the curtains move in somebody's window and there's people living in there. And you look over and they wave and then the mail truck comes through. It's bizarre."
It is really weird. Hi, Melissa.
Yeah. Hi, can I get your autograph? All right. That's it for the news. Let's move on to listener moans, groans, and grunts.
Our longtime friend Evan Shapiro writes, "Just finished The Girl with All the Gifts. Awesome, well written, and well conceived. Thanks. Not that you wrote it, but thanks once again for recommending it. It was encouraging and intriguing from the start, enough so that you commit to the story and characters far before you see your first hint of gore. Kind of the opposite of most zombie fiction I've read. I'd like to pay back the suggestion with one of my own. It's related in as much as it too addresses humanity's evolution. Darwin's Radio by Greg Bear is another, less post-apocalyptic and more contemporary social/technological view of the possible punctuated evolution of Homo sapiens." Did I read that right?
I think so. Darwin's Radio.
Darwin's Radio. Thanks. Don't get bit or inhale the spores. Too late. I have terrible allergies this year, by the way. Speaking about inhaling the spores.
I know. Me too. Ugh. Yeah, cool. I'll have to check that out. Anyone who reads that book and loves it and then wants to recommend me another book, then I'm much more inclined to check it out because that was an amazing book.
That's sitting on my bedside. And
finally,
as soon as I finish my Bill Bryson a walk through into the woods whatever it's called. Yeah, about the Appalachian Trail.
Man, I hope you like it. You'll be like, you might. We'll see. I think you'll know within the first few pages whether you're going to like it.
I'll report back.
Okay, cool. Stacy Johnson says, why do the characters dig graves when there's no body to bury? Example, we see Diana standing out by 4 graves at the beginning of the episode. That was last week. I'm assuming at least one is for Aiden. Mm-hmm. And wasn't he left impaled and eaten? Yep. R.I.P. Yep. I can see leaving a cross or grave marker, but what's with the dirt pile? It seems like Glenn was digging graves for maybe Carol, and when he thought Carol died, and T-Dog, I think, back at the prison too.
Maybe they buried special possessions.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like a hell of a lot of work to dig a full-size grave. And we don't know for sure who is in these graves, but I presumed also that Aiden, one of them was for Aiden.
I did too, and you're right. That is weird. Well noted, Stacey.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You tell us.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask a question, you need to come with a solution. That's what my boss always says.
Really?
Some bosses say that, yeah.
That's pretty good, actually.
But
Samantha Harold Miller writes, I was just listening to your latest Deadcast on season 5, episode 15, and just had to write in to clarify something. You were both taking umbrage with the fact that Sasha was shooting the walkers on the outside of the wall from the bell tower. Well, she actually was in the perfect place to nail those walkers because the bell tower is actually outside the walls of Alexandria. There's a solution.
Oh, there you go. See,
that's how it's done.
Stacy Johnson, that's how you do it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But a lot of people wrote in to say that. Some people sent pictures.
Pictures.
Yeah, so it's just
diagrams.
right outside. Arrows, big writing.
Dear dumbasses.
Well, it wasn't clear, I don't think, well, maybe if you looked really close. But anyways, so it's a little outside. Because even in some of those pictures, it looked like it might be just inside the wall to me, but there were some pictures that showed it really clearly.
Wasn't clear.
Raylan Zapula. Hi, Raylan.
Hi, Raylan.
It's been a while. She says, in response to Idris's call, Idris called last week and said we didn't see any marks on Jesse, and so just questioning whether Pete hit her purposefully in places that were covered up.
Right.
She says, in response to Idris's call, abuse is abuse regardless of if there are not bruises. It takes shape in many forms. I know it's just a show, but felt that was worth pointing out.
That is a very good
That's a very good point. I did wonder that too, to be fair. Like, why, I presume that it was about physical abuse and the bruises were hidden, but we don't know. Yeah, he could have just been a raging maniac and made them fear for their lives and never touched them.
Yeah, abuse takes a lot of different forms, but yeah. So thanks, Raylan, baby.
Yep.
This next one comes from Marissa Halat, who writes, Morgan is back. I enjoy him so much. I'm glad he's finally with the group. The scene with him and the wolf in the beginning was awesome and reminded me of Tyrese and Martin talking way back in the season premiere. The wolf said something like, I used to love going to the movies, and Morgan kind of smiled and looked like he agreed. In the premiere, Martin talked about how he used to go to church and watch football on Sundays, and Tyrese sort of looked at him like he had 3 heads. Yeah, that's true. I have a quibble with distance regarding the wolves. There was a spray painted sign in Noah's hometown, Richmond, that said, wolves not far. We saw the same thing painted on the car very close enough for Daryl, Aaron, and Morgan to get back quickly to Alexandria. Alexandria and Richmond are about 100 miles away. Does this mean that the wolves are a roaming pack of marauders without a home base? This time and effort put into their walker traps doesn't suggest that. They've got to be set up somewhere, but where? Do they send scouts to wreak havoc all over the state? And finally, my favorite line of the whole night was Carol's, these are children, and children like stories, not the way you tell them, girl. It's funny.
I wondered that myself.
About the wolves.
Yeah, because when they stopped, well, she just said it, but they stopped at Noah's, and that was a ways away. And I wonder if they're going to explain that or just sort of hope you don't remember, you know? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, again, if they can cover that much space, well, would they why would they have just happened to go right near Alexandria, just like everyone else did, even though they don't know about it? That seems a little unreal.
This show doesn't do geography a lot of justice.
That's true. But maybe they'll explain it. We'll see. I don't know. From Eric Sherman. Hey, Eric. The Walking Dead show and comic book are both really good at giving you varying degree rooting interest in their antagonists. Because of how much... that means like they're not black and white bad guys that sometimes there's something in them to root for, I think. Because of how much I dislike Father Gabriel, I'm curious how we're going to be made to root for him. Will his prayer with Sasha and Maggie begin to resolve some of his inner conflicts?
Maybe.
Will his self-hatred manifest in other more troublesome ways down the road? Probably. Will we feel for him before he dies if he bites eventually the dust? Or will everything go to hell while he remains alive as the final cowardly observer?
The last man standing.
Crying.
In a field position on a road.
Do you think he'll be redeemed and we'll come to love him, or will he just die a coward and hated?
Middle ground. He'll be redeemed and then he'll die.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah. He's wonderful. I like his sweet face. I think he's going to be redeemed, and then as soon as we start to feel anything for him, they'll take him out.
As soon as we wish that he would stay on the show.
Right.
That very second.
Yes.
You know what? Oh.
This next one comes from Kalar, who writes, I think it's so interesting now that Carol and Rick are on the same page. When Carol killed Karen and David, Rick banished her because she went too far and couldn't be trusted around his kids. But now Rick is singing a different tune and wants to kill a guy who might kill his wife and kids. Both cases were preemptive justice until Pete killed Reg, that is. He only didn't mean to. Maybe.
It's a little different because Karen and David are innocent, and also I contend that going into an area and exposing yourself to their illness to kill them means that you should also kill yourself, so you don't bring it right back out to everybody else.
Infect everyone else. That was never going to happen.
But also Rick said, let's separate them first and try that. Maybe he was sort of tempering himself and he really did just want to go kill Pete, but that's not what he said. Would
it be weird if, I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to us at some point not ever talking about Karen and David again, who were bludgeoned to death basically. And then
as long as Carol's on the show, it's going to be tough.
We're going to be talking about it. Would it be weird if it was Jason and Jenny? When Carol killed Jason and Jenny,
yes,
it is weird.
I mean,
right?
it's weird for me to say Karen and David, but probably not as weird as it is for you and David.
It's pretty weird. They should have found less common names.
When Carol killed Jamiqua and Filbert.
Jamiqua and Filbert. There, yes, you're right. What are the odds that somewhere two of our listeners are like, what?
Yeah, what? That's so weird.
That's weird.
They're
the podcast
married to
just
each other.
Spoke to us.
It's like the magic mirror. Don't get bit, Jamiqua and Filbert.
That's funny.
Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Okay. Jordy Comas says, in this week's episode, Conquer. What was conquered? Not Alexandria. Psych. Sasha's embrace of suicide was conquered, maybe. Gabriel's self-loathing. I don't know about that. Dean's naivete.
Yeah.
Deanne's naivete. Rick's hubris. Michonne's waffling about her role. Daryl's fear of death. I think Daryl's fear of death seemed pretty well conquered.
Yeah.
What was not conquered? Our curiosity about the wolves. That's true. which may be fine. Okay, and finally, a kind of weird haiku for Karen. Please laugh at it.
Done.
This season, fucky fuck fuck. Wow, machete to the face. Rictocracy? No. You got your laugh.
Rictocracy. No.
Nope.
No. All right. Thanks for writing, Jordy. This next one's from Liz Radzicki, who writes, I have been such a huge fan of this season, but last night's Finale was terrible. Sloppy, lazy writing all around, and very little actually happened. Felt more like a setup episode to a finale written by the president of the Department of Suspension of Disbelief. 1. Daryl not sensing the food trucks were a trap. 2. Morgan showing up randomly just in the nick of time. 3. Spencer just wandering off, vaguely asking Gabriel to close the gate like it's a light switch in a living room. And 4. The community meeting happening after dark around a campfire. That seemed like it was more of like a fire pit.
Yeah.
A nice little fire
inside,
pit.
right?
Mm-hmm. No, that was outside.
Oh, it was outside. Okay.
Yeah, it was lovely. This sode deserves a big fat come on. I'm interested in where they go with the wolves, and the scene of them getting all the walkers back in the trucks was great. Yeah, that was actually pretty great with lights and the music. I'm beyond psyched to see Morgan, but overall a real dud. But at least it was long. Points for the comedy of Rick bringing the dead walker to the campfire like a dog, punished for shitting on the rug, bringing a dead rabbit to its owner as an apology gift. That dude straight up cray. Jesse has terrible taste in men. That's funny.
There were a few other, I didn't, read all the emails. We didn't read all the emails, but there were a few other people who thought the same thing. I see all your points. Sometimes I feel like Walking Dead has desensitized us to gore and also to these little suspension of disbelief things.
Yeah, I like that department though. There's many entries into that department.
Right. I don't agree with all yours, but most of them I do agree.
They're pretty great.
Anyways, okay, let's move on to calls. Lots of calls this week again. Sorry you can't play all of them, but here are a few. Please try again if you didn't get played. Here's Michelle from Long Island.
Hey, Jason and Karen. It's Michelle from Long Island, New York. Thought I'd give this another go. Really amazing season finale last night of The Walking Dead. I love how there's so many callbacks. I know a lot of people didn't like season 2, but I saw a lot of connections to it. Particularly that last scene, which really reminded me of the campfire scene in season 2 where the dictatorship started, where it said, "This is not a democracy anymore." That was pretty cool, pretty much along the lines of what Rick was saying last night with, yeah, you're going to change. I think they will. I hope they will for their sake. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that Pete kind of stood in for season 2's Randall there. I thought it was interesting. In Judge, Jury, and Executioner in season 2, they had this big meeting and they talked.
Oh, she got cut off. That's weird. That was the whole thing. Pete as Randall. But Randall didn't do anything wrong that we saw.
He was about to.
We don't know that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, no, I'm with you.
It turns out he was, because we had...
You'd like the guys.
One of the
They're crazy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's what. Oh God, don't torture me! Shut up, dude. All right, good point. Okay, next is Rob from Ohio.
Hey, Karen and Jason, my name is Rob. First time caller. Love the episode. I still think the last one of season 4 was better, but I love last night's episode. My one question is, why was Aaron so stupid to drop his bag and leave it behind so the wolves could rifle through it? Haven't heard anybody talk about that. It's going to be some bad shit next year when we get to Alexandria. You guys keep up the great job. Here's my zombie voice.
Thanks, Rob. He's right.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't believe we didn't mention it until he just brought it up.
I just presumed that it was too much chaos.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Not, I got to get my bag. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the real reason is so that the wolves will come and attack and we can see some cool episodes.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I guess it was just he just was more interested in saving his life than worrying about it.
And eventually collecting a license plate. Which he then used as a weapon.
That's true. Okay, next is Matt from San Francisco.
What?
Hey guys, this is Matt from San Francisco. I just wanted to say I thought last night's finale was a great episode. A few things being tied up, a lot of new storylines being added, and but it just did not feel like a finale to me. It just didn't seem big enough. I want a big giant barn burning with zombies, a horde coming after our folks or something. Just didn't seem like a finale, but it was a great episode. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on that. Don't get bit. W.
Ow.
Yeah, you know what? I thought sort of the same thing. At one point, I wrote down a really good episode, or a great episode, or a good finale, or something like that, to kind of echo the same sentiment.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty damn good finale, actually, but I kind of had the same thing. Like, this is a better regular episode than, per se, a finale.
Nothing too suspenseful yet. I mean, maybe they could have continued it just, or somehow rejiggered it so that the wolves find their way and you see like one of the wolves looking into,
right,
you know, and that would have lent, that's
for
coming,
sure. But it made me, the fact that they didn't do that makes me think that, well, at least they leave the possibility open that the wolves won't find them for a while.
Yeah.
So when you come back, I actually heard James say this on their the Walker Shockers last night, that you could come back and it could be 3 months later and Carl could be the paper boy and everything could be fine.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I wonder if they're going to do a time jump.
Maybe.
I hope so. That would be great.
Yeah,
actually.
Do another time jump. Why not? Judith will be toddling around.
What's he gonna deliver?
Well, somebody's got to write the paper.
It's a thin paper. Yeah. Oh, yes. Eugene could write the paper.
He's got the lingo. And then finally, we have Timothy from Louisiana.
Hey, Jason Ken. Just watched the season 5 finale, and I just want to say the wolves are not far. Yeah,
that was pretty sinister.
They're going to be in trouble. And I want to see Vic run this town. But, I mean, and Morgan, I mean, I love that Morgan got just a whole episode. I mean, that was really cool. Well, there you go. There it is. I give this episode a 10/9. 10/9 is the score. And you know what? Since this is the season 5 finale, I'm going to do a zombie sound, okay? Here you go. It's a walker choking, like Rick was choking that one walker. And blew his brains out of his eye socket. Well, that's all for now. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, Timothy.
It reminded me of that emergency broadcast. Thanks, Timothy.
Thank you, Timothy.
All right. That's it for, what were we just doing? Listener Moans, Groans, and Grunts. Now let's move along to Comic Talk with Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. Take it away.
Hey, everyone. This is Mr. Blog.
And this is Grace.
And it's very exciting to be back for another episode of Comic Talk. Grace, I got to say, this is the last one of the season.
Oh, I know it.
I'm a little sad, you know?
I know.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a bummer not coming back for these every week, but
seriously, we're not going to have anything to talk about for the companion series. What's the name?
Oh, Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, there is no Fear the Walking Dead comic, so there will be no Comic Talk for that. But who knows, and hopefully we will be back for season 6. I'm really looking forward to it, because I'm going to get this out of the way right now. I'm excited for what's to come, because I gave my prediction last week about what I thought was going to happen.
We're going to have to hold off on seeing some of that, I think.
Well, exactly. I thought they were going to go a lot further than they did. And I was really surprised as to just how, they just got to the Pete thing, really.
Yeah, they're going to draw that out a little bit, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think so.
I always think they speed through some of the content.
Well, that's just it. I was thinking that
this is like the first time I've been like, oh, wow, they're stretching it out, actually.
Mm-hmm. So we still have the scavengers who I'm still positive are going to be the wolves, and that whole scenario is going to play out. And of course, No Way Out, which, man, I'm so excited about. So why don't we go ahead and talk about this episode in particular? 516, Conquer. What's the first thing you noticed that came from the comic?
Well, I think the first thing is, like you said, the wolves, going on the assumption that they will replace the scavengers. we saw a little bit of them. The groups were introduced completely differently.
Oh, yeah.
In the comic, I guess we first see them when Heath and Glenn go out for that pharmacy run. They're trying to get some antibiotics and whatnot for Heath's dying friend Scott.
Yeah.
And they see some people in the town who do not appear to be very nice people. And
That's one way to do
they
it.
turn out later to be, who we refer to as the scavengers, but they just kind of get a glimpse of them.
Well, it's interesting that the show has been doing this rather consistently with a lot of the, I don't want to say minor baddies in the series, the comic series, but if you go all the way back to even, well, not all the way back, but think about Terminus, right? The Hunters were just a separate group. We came upon them, boom, that whole thing happened. However, in this, they get this actual backstory and so much more to them. Same thing with the Marauders. In the book, they just appear out of nowhere. In this case, we get the whole Joe and the Claimed gang. We get their backstory. So it seems like they're doing the same thing for the Scavengers.
Right. Kind of teasing it along for a while.
Tease
and getting little dribs and drabs and before they appear.
Yeah. And a better understanding of who these bad people are that we're supposed to hate. It's just in the different media, you're just going to have a different opportunity to flesh those things out. I think it's been fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to that. And seeing them, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Though I was surprised there were only 2 of them that we saw at least.
Yeah, I know. There's you'd expect there should be a lot more, but who knows?
Listen, at least 6 or 8.
At least 6 or 8. Yeah. Are you really a gang or a group if it's just 2 of you cruising around doing all that? Of course, then the next thing, which we brought up last week shortly, was the Glenn Nicholas scenario and the way that played out.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly played out differently. Nicholas in the book had gathered together other people from Alexandria and saying, how is it that these people are taking over? Who elected them? Blah, blah, blah. How did this happen? Let's take it down. And he points a gun at Glenn. He never actually shoots Glenn. So there are a lot of differences with that, but at least this confrontation happened.
Yeah, something similar. And then getting into some of the big stuff, the whole aftermath of the Rick Pete fight.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is very much like the comic, even though some of the other things were not. But seeing Rick all bandaged up, just like in the panels of the
little
comic,
butterfly closures, right?
Yes.
The small little. No, it was cool. I love to see that. That was just fantastic to see it. And of course, Michonne's response.
Yeah.
Is that basically the same? No.
Well, I think it's different. She was much.
Because in the book,
colder,
she says, "Get your shit
and,
together," right?
Yeah, much colder in the comic.
Yeah.
Of course, in the TV show, more time has gone by because he was actually knocked out. And, he was out for some time, it seems, because she mentions other people that have come to visit him while he was out. So, maybe she's had time to calm down but the circumstances were also a bit different too, even though he did look very crazy. It wasn't that he just barged into Pete's house and banged on the door and then punched him either. It was a little, there was some provocation there.
Yeah. In the show, you mean there was the provocation?
Show, yes.
Yeah, you're right. In the book, he does just walk in, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, and also Deanna / Douglas's their response. Her response. Very different, really.
Yeah, in the TV show, it was mainly because the fight went down a little bit differently. But in the TV show, mainly she was addressing or wanting to address the fact that he pulled a gun on her and was waving it around, and what he was saying
or anything in the book. Was
right,
there?
No, there was no town meeting at all.
Campfire.
Douglas was making all the decisions, and he basically, he was angry, and I don't know what to do with you. But then he gets over it kind of quickly. And
when he says specifically, here's the thing that I really do wish was in the show was where Douglas goes on about how, he was pissed off that he stole the gun. However, he realizes that throughout that entire fight, he never once pulled the gun on Pete.
On Pete, right.
The only time he pulled the gun was when it was to show Douglas, basically, that I'll steal right under your nose and I'll get away with it. Fuck you. Was basically, and Rick tells him, Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a difference in there. And then I got so excited when the mention of
Davidson, Alexander Davidson. Yeah.
Yes.
Very differently how that went.
Again, very, very differently. But I really loved hearing that name pop up, that they still do have that tie to the backstory of Alexandria with Davidson. That was neat. What did you think about Pete as far as like when he finally snapped?
Oh, I loved hearing, "This isn't my house," and I wanted to see him turning over the furniture. Though we just had to hear it. But I was imagining him in there turning over the coffee table and whatever. That
I think it was a good call not to show that. You know what I mean? Just to have it off
screen. It would look too much like a tantrum.
It would look too much like a tantrum, which it was. Yeah. It was not the katana that he walks out with in the book. He just goes out with a chef's knife. Yeah. Yeah. The outcome was still the same.
It was, yeah. But I think here he's walking in on the town meeting, whereas in the comic it was the burial of Heath's buddy Scott.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And that would be a really bad place to try to make threats on people with a knife right in the middle of somebody's funeral. That's some serious bad decorum. In this case, upsetting tribal council. I don't know if that was the worst setting. It was kind of interesting. and I do like the way the show made it much clearer than the book that it was an accident. I think that was something that a point that was made in the book, that he really didn't mean to kill Regina. He just kind of pushed her away and just, a slip of the hand. They explain it in one way in the book. You really do see that in the show, where you can tell he did not mean to. He just has no clue how to wield a katana.
Who does? Besides Michonne.
Besides Michonne, and many samurai. Many, like there are samurai, but so that was, different, but essentially the same thing.
Yeah, still resulting in the death of Reg
/ Regina. Yeah, it's we're sitting here nitpicking at this point if we're talking about the blade that was used, so no need to nitpick. But speaking of nitpicking, that outcome, that was the same.
That was exactly the same. Oh, I love it. Do it.
Yeah, but just the way Rick in the show is so quick to just wordlessly turn and boom, same thing in the book. There is that iconic panel of Rick just blam, shooting him.
Though in this one, he does it in front of Jesse, where I don't believe Jesse was there at Scott's burial.
Are you sure?
Which is pretty rough. I don't think so.
As far as anything else in the show, the biggie, I guess, would be Morgan.
Morgan is back. And more than it being a parallel to the comic, it was more of a sort of opposite of what happened last time we saw Morgan. Rick was looking like the crazy one this time.
Yeah, that is true, absolutely. But thinking back to how we got Morgan back in the comic book, this is completely and totally different.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
In that's where Abraham, Rick, and Carl get assaulted by the Marauders on their way to go back to Cynthiana, Kentucky, to go see if he's there. And sure enough, he's there. And that's when we find out about Dwayne being chained up in there as a zombie. So all that played out, what would have been clear in some ways, but not. And so, it's an amalgam of things. I like the way it went down here with the whole meeting of Daryl and Aaron and that introduction, to Rick, with him looking completely insane.
And it's just good to have him back.
It really is.
The group is getting more similar to that of the group in the comic.
Exactly. Closer and closer. Although, again, my prediction about Carol's demise did not happen. I guess so. I really thought that was going to happen. I don't know. So as far as any kind of extra spoilers about the predictions, I guess, I kind of front loaded that a little bit when we talked about my prediction. What are you looking for in season 6? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, I'm looking forward to the Herd, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think seeing that No Way Out arc with just them being sieged by zombies is going to be so cool to have zombies be the main threat again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen that.
It has.
It's been a while, but get enough of those little stinky bastards together, and I think you're going to have one hell of a scary scenario, and I want to see that played out. I think that's going to be really, really cool. Because zombie action is one thing I got to say. The TV show can maybe trump over the book.
Oh, agreed. Definitely.
That's one thing that's just like, oh yeah, bring it on. So I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to see how this wolves thing is going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope, like the book, it's going to be all this buildup for what will amount to a 5-minute segment on the show.
I hopefully we'll get the little pig.
Well, yeah, I bet it'll be like 10 minutes of setup with little pig, let me in. Rick, I fucking the dude for a while, a little bit of banter back and forth, and then just 5 minutes of chaos, and that's it.
Sasha, pop in a couple of them.
Yeah, exactly. That would be pretty groovy. I'd look forward to that. And then after No Way Out, then of course we're gonna have the introduction of Jesse. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be maybe the second half of season 6.
Yeah.
We get to meet,
it feels like we're really catching up.
And then we'll get to meet the Hilltop, Gregory. And then
there's some things I don't want to see in some of those arcs.
And then, of course, yes, I know. And then, of course, Ezekiel. We maybe get to meet Shiva, a tiger.
No, I don't want to see. That's one of the things I don't want to see.
I know. That's why I brought it up. You about ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's do.
Season 5 of Comic Talk. Thank you guys so much for joining us and allowing us to blabble on about these things. Thank you, Jason and Karen, for allowing us to be part of the show every week. And make sure you guys listen to us on Under the Comic Covers weekly and soon Game of Microphones.
Get bit, Brianna Cummings.
The town of Milton may seem normal at first glance, but the shadows are cursed and the expansive woods surrounding town are forbidden. They call it